Knock, knock.
Ooh, who's there?
A Boost Mobile expert, here to deliver and set up your all-new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever.
You call that a knock-knock joke?
This isn't a joke. Boost Mobile really sends experts to deliver and set up your phone at home or work.
Okay, well, it's just that when people say knock-knock, there's usually a joke to go with it.
Like I said, this isn't a joke.
So the knock-knock was just you knocking?
Yeah, that's how doors work.
Get the new iPhone 17 Pro delivered and set up by an expert wherever you are. Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com. Terms apply.
AI had the time of my life. AI never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use on Monday.com.
Hello and welcome to 31 Days of Terror 2025, and we are on day number 18. And for today's episode, I'm joined by the wonderful Adam Lynch from Houston Strange. Houston Strange was started to collect and document all manner of strange phenomena throughout the greater Houston area and beyond. Adam wants to build a community of skeptics, believers and in-betweeners in a judgment-free environment. Obviously, as always, the links to where you can find Houston Strange will be in the description of this episode. And I would highly, highly recommend that you go and follow Houston Strange wherever you get your podcasts, but also wherever you consume your visual media. So whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on TikTok or Instagram, because Adam is out here creating incredible video content and I absolutely adore watching his videos, so can highly recommend them. I would highly recommend that you go and check out Houston Strange and really just check out any of the work that Adam does, because he's out here creating great content. And as always with these episodes, this was recorded remotely, so the sound quality might be different to what you would usually expect, but it is still absolutely fine and perfectly listenable. I hope you enjoy it. And I am joined in the studio by the wonderful Adam. Adam, how are you? It's been a while.
It's been so long, and I'm fantastic. Thank you very much.
That's so good. Who are you? Why are you here?
Who am I? I ask myself the same question every morning. No, first of all, I'm thank you for having me on. This is great. But yeah, I'm originally with Weekly Creep, which is still an ongoing long-term podcast. It's just on a bit of a hiatus right now that I do with my wife, Dulce. So that's where most of your listeners will know, because I think I said at the time a couple of years ago when we did this before, like, some of your listeners listen to Weekly Creep, all of Weekly Creep's listeners listen to Real Life Ghost Stories, you know what I mean? So there's definitely going to be some familiar friends here on this one. But now I'm doing a little project called Houston Strange, which is basically me driving around hassling people into telling me their ghost stories. And yeah, that's about it. Like, it's a full, like, started off, it was supposed to be just a little podcast, and now I'm like making videos and stuff like that, because I kind of just felt like some of the places I was going to needed, they were too nice not to film there, basically.
And your videos are amazing. Like, I watch your videos on Instagram. I mean, the video quality is absolutely, like, it is stunning. Why did you decide to do Houston Strange? Like, what was it that spurred you on to do it?
To be honest, this is going to sound like really heavy, really off the top. But no, I had gone home. My granddad was passed away a couple of years ago, and I went back to Dublin, which is where I'm from, like 3 times in a very short space of time. And every time I went back, like, I couldn't leave the house without bumping into someone, even if it was like, you know, Odd Owen down the road who, like, you know, whatever. But they like everyone would stop you and just be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Like, how are you doing?" Being nosy and whatever, and like same as myself. So I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually something that I have been missing, like in my life." Do you know what I mean? Because Houston is such a big, sprawling city. Nobody walks anywhere, so you don't bump into people by chance. And I was like, between that and tea culture, like just going to your friend's house and sitting down and having a cup of tea, doesn't exist here.
And I do
So-
think, sorry, I'm going to
you're
interrupt
fine.
briefly. I do think, because obviously I live away from home as well, that tea culture is really lacking. Like, you
Yeah.
know, and I think when we say tea culture, like, I don't think people understand that it is literally, there's no plan. Like, you just call around somebody's house. Like, if you're in the vicinity, you're like, geez, I'll call into Adam there and see if he's home. And then
Yeah.
you go in and have tea and a chat, and it's completely unplanned. It's just spontaneous, and there's something really lovely about it. And I think it is only when you're away from it that you go, oh, that's a whole thing that we do.
Yeah, and it was like it's something that we don't even think about. Like maybe you go, "Oh well, I'll text Carl because I'm in his super value." And I'll have, like if I bring around chocolate biscuits or whatever, like do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's as far as like the planning will go. And yeah, so I kind of wanted to bring that back with me a little bit and just kind of like force some new like relationships or whatever. And funnily enough, I'm doing this in like seasons because there's only so many people that are willing to engage, invite someone to their house and like sit down or wherever the location ends up being. You know what I mean? Like at this stage, I've done interviews like in cars driving down 290, which is the big highway just down here. I've been out the back of like heavy metal bars where the noise cancelling technology on the microphones and stuff has been an absolute game changer. Yeah, like so safe places where people are okay meeting up with. But yeah, always like the most recent one that I did was literally I went, got a couple of, well, I drink coffee most of the time when I'm out, but coffee and a tea. And we went and we sat in the girl's house. And we just, like the interview itself is probably an hour and a half, but I think probably there for about 4 hours, just yammering on. And so like the other thing was anytime I was here, I'd be saying like, oh, do you have any good ghost stories? Like I grew up working in construction, and when things got quiet or when you were busy, but you're trying to pass the time, that was always my go-to kind of question. And I found like back home, you'd either get made fun of lightheartedly or you get a really good story.
Yeah.
Whereas here it was a little bit more like, excuse me. You know what I mean? So this was just all kind of to pull that back in. And thankfully, I like it. The numbers thing, I don't really like. I don't look them, to be honest, because I'm doing this. It's a fun project that I'm doing. I said in the episodes, like, this is a selfish project. Like, I'll sit here and like write little music for it. I'll be like making sound effects and stuff like that. But it's already been such a success in like friendships being made and getting me into weird places that I never thought that I would have been before. Like I was in a haunted fire station up the road. Now it's not going to be an episode because I can't. The lads can't actually tell the stories. But I've sat in the living room in this fire station and they've all told me in this bedroom back here, like nobody sleeps in this bed. And we had a haunted ambulance at one point. And you know what I mean? Just these big, huge, very good looking firemen.
Big, beautiful firemen. I mean, listen, anybody, if you want to spend some time with some big, beautiful firemen, apparently all you need to do is start a paranormal podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's amazing that because I regularly as in like every couple of months I'll get a story about a haunted fire station, which I think is mad. Like that it's obviously a kind of a relatively universal thing that fire stations end up being haunted. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just not somewhere that would pop into my mind when I was thinking about haunted locations.
Yeah, and especially like the one that I'm talking about, like it's my local one, doesn't look weird or anything like that, but I don't know. I mean, like they're first responders, so that's weird energies all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. First responders, they deal with some weird shit for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. But so that's how I kind of count the success of Houston Strange, though. Like it's been opening doors to like weird things that I never thought. Like I got to shoot my first burlesque show the other night. I do photography and stuff like that. And I ended up doing like a video for them as well. And it was that was because one of my listeners she started her burlesque journey at the same time I started Houston Strange. And so I've watched her grow from what's it called, like the stage kitten, like, you know, the helper and stuff like that, into now like a full performer. Like, and I was blown away like by the whole show itself. So yeah, like it's opened these weird different doors. Like, it's beyond like just the little ghost stories, you know what I mean? But they're still the heart of it. Yeah.
And that's kind of amazing that it has opened those doors for you, like weird and wonderful places that you never thought the podcast would go. What has been not your favorite story, because that's not a fair question to ask. What has been the scariest story that you've covered so far, do you think?
Yeah, there was one that I did the other day that got me, that I haven't even edited it. It's literally that hard drive that I showed you earlier. It's sitting on there. But the one that was pure, like knocked me off my feet was one called the episode of Stephanie's Story. And it was the last episode of like season 1. And I literally got it like the week before, and I'd run out of videos, and I was like, oh man, well, I guess that's it. And then I get this message from Stephanie, and she's like, hey, I'm from Spring Branch. I grew up there, which is kind of our neighborhood where we live. And like, that's not doxing me or anything. Like, it's a big general area, you know? But she was like, yeah, I have this story. I haven't really told anyone in years. I work like in a corporate job, and like, it doesn't come up. I would like to get this off my chest, kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm down for whatever. So she's actually the one. She was like, look, meet me in this bar. It's really nice. I don't drink, which is like, not that it gets in the way, but it can just be a little bit awkward sometimes when someone's like, I need to have a drink to get this off my chest. So it was all fine. But no, we sat down. We sat outside. Thankfully, it was like a lovely cold evening. So it was just so gorgeous. And yeah, we sat down, and she told me this story of her and her friends playing with a Ouija board when they were in, I don't know what the schools are, like middle school. She was young anyway. She's maybe not even a teenager, but like 11, 12 maybe. And I think there was like an older friend involved, and, you know, she kind of bullied them into trying it out. But it took place in the spare room in this girl's bedroom, and basically things just went wild. And she's telling me this story. It's not on camera, because like she didn't feel comfortable being on camera. So as she's telling me anyway, like, she's got tears in her eyes. She's like visibly shaking. And as it was a Zozo encounter. I'm sure you've covered that, like, particular whatever it is. I still don't know. But basically the planchette starts doing like the figure of 8, the famous thing. And she never mentioned Zozo while she was telling me the story. So starts doing this figure of 8, and then they start getting knocking on the walls and starts moving around. There's shadows going across like the windows of the bedroom. But like, obviously it was a bedroom in a house. Nothing can just walk around 4 walls. You know what I mean? And things just start, the AC unit in the window starts getting like slammed up and down. Like, it was just extremely intense. The girls at one point, they put like someone's jumper at the bottom of the door, because there was a kitten in the house or something. And I think where they were sitting, like, the kitten kept putting her paw in underneath the door. So they put the jumper down there originally to stop the cat. But eventually, like, something yanked it, and they don't think it was the cat. Like, it was with force anyway. And yeah, the whole time, like, this girl's guardians were in the house, and they didn't hear any of it. So Stephanie, at some point, they got too scared, and they were like, look, I'm not dealing with this. Like, I have to go. And the older girl was like, don't worry, I'll close it out. I know what I'm doing. And so Stephanie sat in the living room with I think it was the girl's uncle. And she could still hear the stuff going on, but the adults couldn't. Like, weird stuff. But the most interesting thing, like this whole time, like I at one point, just because of how genuine she was in her story, like I was getting chills. You know what I mean? Like this, she was so affected by this. And there was a tree behind her, and literally just a shadow shot up the tree. Like that's what I saw. And still to this day, it could have been anything. But in that moment, it like scared the pants off me, and I couldn't tell her because I didn't want to interrupt her story, and I definitely didn't want to scare her. But yeah, I don't know what it was. None of the cars passing afterwards, because then I was like fixated on this tree, and yeah, no cars driving past or anything like that. It wasn't. I couldn't recreate it, anything like that. It was just the most random thing, and that kind of brought the story back in for me, and I was just like, this is mind-blowing. Yeah. And like in terms of like editing, it was the most, like she spilled everything. She painted a picture, she described the house, she described like it was, I think, the 90s, like, you know what I mean, everything. It was just such a, yeah, that's probably been the most intense story that I got, to be honest. Yeah.
Have you ever done a Ouija board?
No, I haven't.
Would you?
With the right people, I would. And now I have met the right people. I've been lucky enough to do a little bit of work with Night Owl podcast, based out of Austin. Stephen is lovely. I need to get back to him. But one of his mediums that works with him on the show, Alexis, I was up in his shop in Austin on Tuesday, and he doesn't like have a huge collection. Like he likes to move his stuff when he gets it, but he has one of the original like wooden ones, like that's not the plasticky ones that like this one will burn. You know what I mean? I think that makes a difference when you're like reselling these things. But yeah, if I was to sit with him, they work out of the Spiritualist Church in Austin. And I've been around him and other people that like are just very calm, very collected, and they do a lot of like curandero work and stuff like that, curanderism. Sorry for my pronunciation, but yeah. So if I was with them, I might do it. But if I'm just at home, like not a chance. Not a
just casually on a Thursday evening, whipping out the Ouija board.
Yeah, you know what I mean. No, I don't need that.
You know, it's funny you say, because the bit about, is it Steph? Was that her name?
The lady, yeah. Steph,
it's a bit about Steph's story where like none of the adults in the house could hear anything, but the kids, you know, whatever age they were, could hear it. And I did an episode recently on the Smurl family haunting, which I'm sort of very critical about for lots of reasons. But one of the things that they said, which really made me go, really, was that they had this belief that whatever was in the house, this demon that was in the house, according to them, had the ability to allow certain people in the house to hear things and make it so other people in the house couldn't. And I was like, this is such shit. And just when you were saying about, you know, Steph sitting in the living room with her uncle and him not hearing a thing, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so super critical about everything.
So funny enough, right? Like, and I won't go too deep into this, but I don't have that many encounters. Like, do you know what I mean? Generally, I live a very boring existence. You know what I mean? My wife Dulce would have like more, I think. But there was one time when we were again back home, and we had gone looking for this. And again, it sounds more romantic than it is, but you know, Emma, like there's a castle ruin, and it's like just off the motorway. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not that far. We could see it from my mom's house because the house is up on a bit of a hill. And I was like, oh, I've been there before with Carl and Sarah, who are our ghosty friends back home. And like, they're the ones that we would go to like the Hellfire Club with, or like we went to Spike Island with them and stuff like that. And we went there one night and it was a disaster. It was freezing cold. And like, we had just eaten something that didn't agree with us. And so it was like 20 minutes stood shivering. but it was the most active like 20 minutes ever. You know what I mean? Weird stuff. So I was like, well, let's go back. It was me, my wife, and my 2 little sisters. And I was like, let's just go for a nice stroll. We'll find the castle. Couldn't find it, first of all, which was strange because we could see it from the road. Yeah. So, and the first time I was there, I was like, everything that was happening was like fairy activity, like which sounds silly, I know.
I was
but, like,
literally about to say to you that is some fairy bullshit if you
So-
couldn't find it the second time round.
Yeah, and we couldn't. We kept getting close and we could like see it. It's like, oh, if we just go, if like we jumped over that wall, like we probably, anyway. So we were on a trail, like we could see regular people's houses all around. But it was getting dark and you had to go back like through pretty thick woods, like just for a minute to get back to where the car was parked. And so I was like, all right, well, like, look, this was a flop. Like, let's just go home. It's grand. And me and my youngest sister were walking maybe 30 feet ahead of Dulce and my middle sister. My youngest sister has no time for this stuff because it scares her, so she doesn't entertain it. So anyway, we're walking and I hear a car door slam. But like I said, we could see people's houses, you know what I mean? We weren't in the middle of nowhere. But as I hear the car door slam, Dulce and my sister behind us like are like, oh my God, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Something just growled at us from the woods. And I was like, first of all, we're not in the woods. Like, this is not the wilderness. There's nothing here that could growl at you. Like, maybe a deer, you know what I mean, would like hoof or something. So me and Roisin just completely discounted it because we were like, all right, like, don't worry, like, we're going home now anyway. Dulce and Kleena were fuming because they were like, why aren't you believing us? We heard something growl. There was something in the trees. It growled at us. A few weeks later, I'm at work at a very boring job, wiring electrical panels. So at that place, I would just listen to hours and hours of books, podcasts, whatever. And I'm listening to John Keel. And I was like half paying attention. And I think it was the Mothman Prophecies. One of like, you know, anyway, he mentions, and it just catches my attention. He's like, in many like UFO or fairy encounters, blah, blah, blah. And he's like drawing the dots or connecting the dots. People will often hear car doors slamming. People will often hear two things at the same time that are completely different. Like, he literally described our encounter. And I was like, this was one of those moments. I had another moment like this the other day where like everything kind of came crashing down. I was like, oh my God. And I like text Dulce. I'm like, you're never going to guess what. She's like, so like, okay. Like, I told you what I heard. Like, you know what I mean? I'm over here having like a mental breakdown. But and then later I spoke with Tim from Strange Familiars, who like kind of specializes in like more, literally in like outdoor experiences and Bigfoot, stuff like that. And he was like, oh yeah, like I heard a car door slam one night in like the real middle of nowhere in somewhere in Pennsylvania, like just standing by a river. They heard a car door slam. And I was like, okay, for it to be so specific. So I'm very aware now that two people can have the same encounter or completely different encounters at the same time. And then just recently, one of the videos that I put up on TikTok, which I found unbelievable at the time, and now I've had like many people comment saying like, oh my God, I've seen this same thing. It supposedly only shows up to women down in Galveston. He's like a modern looking young man who might have been like one of the homeless population down there who passed away. But he literally is very aggressive and like went to attack my friend Jin and her friend as they were like sitting on the seawall one night. But when Jin got out of the car with the crowbar, because she's a looper, he had disappeared. So they were like, okay, well, you know, this was a real person. We need to be more careful. A few nights later, they see him again with a male security guard of the hotel across the street. And he claimed to not be able to see him. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, the more stuff like this I do, the weirder things I encounter, I am becoming more and less skeptical of at the
Well,
same
that's
time.
what I was just going to ask you because I feel like I go through waves of being like wildly skeptical where I don't believe anything, and then periods of time where I'm like I believe everything. Do you find that your kind of level of belief has changed at all?
Monday Sidekick, the AI agent that knows you and your business, thinks ahead and takes action. Ask it anything. Seriously. Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today on monday.com.
Tonight's meal, tilapia surprise with boiled cabbage. Begin cooking steps 1 through 50 now.
Are you kidding me? Making dinner shouldn't feel like doing a 1,000-piece puzzle. With Blue Apron's new one-pan assemble and bake meals, the hard part's already done. Pre-chopped ingredients, zero stress. Just assemble, bake, and enjoy. No complicated steps, no mountain of dishes. Try Assemble and Bake today. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key. And that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a smoker or vapor, ready to make a change, you really only need one good reason. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you'll discover many good reasons. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch brand. Plus, Zyn offers a robust rewards program. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction. But there's only one Zyn. Check out Zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Yes and no. Like, I still get, like, because every day now, like, people, and I'm talking like the same people, like the people that I see at work, they'll approach me and tell me the same stories. And it's like the famous one is in San Antonio, because I have a couple of San Antonio stories coming up. But it was on Ghost Adventures, all this. It's like a railroad tracks where, you know, if you put your car in neutral and you'll find the handprints. But it's been debunked so many times that, like, I don't even have the heart to tell people now. Like, do you know what I mean?
I don't. There's stories as well that I don't bother either, where people will say it, and I'm like, even though you know that it is, because that's a optical illusion, isn't it? It's actually on a hill, and you don't realize it because it looks like it's not, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I know.
And funny enough, like Zach Baggins even went and got like the some contractors out, like to prove. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. But yeah, so like stories like that I'll hear and I'm like, okay, I love a good story, love a good urban legend.
Yeah.
Some of them are just not true. And a good example of that was actually the Black Hope Cemetery, which you have covered.
Yes.
Yeah, so the person who actually started this lives there, in the neighborhood. He owns 2 houses there. I don't know how. But he rents one out and he lives in the other, and they had experienced stuff in both houses. And they even have a neighbor there that is experiencing like a much darker flavor of the same stuff. So I've been up there, like I've been in their houses, like they're lovely houses, normal Texan suburban modern houses, like. But the story behind it was like, you know, oh well, it was a freed slave burial ground, and it got built over, and like that. I'm gonna end up like misquoting myself now because it's been like a year and a half since I actually read about it. But either way, the story wasn't true. Unsolved Mysteries was like the main source for it when I looked into it. But what is true is that people were still uncovering bodies in their backyards as recently as like 2019.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I had like the maps of Crosby Township or something going back from like 18, whenever like the earliest version of the map was. And you could see that like all these Swedish settlers had bought or been given plots of land where they had just moved on and started farming. But like before that, it was a huge Native American population there at some point. And then these farmers, these settlers or whoever, they would have just buried their loved ones on their land. So as these plots were divided up over years and whatever, like, you know, it's grannies and granddads are being found potentially, you know what I mean? I can't prove that, but it was one of those stories that, like, the actual story was much more interesting than the legend that came out of it.
Yeah.
And the freed slave aspect of it, there is a freed, what's the word? There's like a really strong black community, like 5 miles down. I can't think of the name of it now, but that was the actual neighborhood that the story was referencing. But it's still like a bustling, growing township. You know what I mean? And their story is much cooler. It was literally this
much
guy,
more interesting.
Yeah, like this guy became free at some point, and he like hunted down his family and brought them back. The name of the town is escaping me now, but like he literally brought his family back from all over. Like, it wasn't just Texas. I think some of them were like maybe in Florida and stuff. His sisters and brothers brought them back. They built schools. They educated their own. They brought other freed people in. Like, you know what I mean? It was, as I was reading this, I was like, this is the story.
Yeah, it's amazing how you fall down these rabbit holes because of a paranormal story, and then you go, hang on, that's not true, but also, fuck me, this is much more interesting suddenly.
And sorry, the question was, am I more skeptical or not? I think some of the things, I'm definitely more open to some of the weirder kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I have been out looking at potential Bigfoot structures in the Salado Creek, which is in San Antonio as well. So that's going to be coming up probably next month whenever I finish it, basically. My mom's coming in next week, so I have to take a week off. I'm not allowed to do any of this. But so I've definitely been doing a lot of the weirder stuff, which I love.
I also love the weird kind of Fortean stuff. Like, I love a ghost story. Who doesn't, right? But every so often a story comes in where you're just like, it's just so weird. You know what I mean? Where it's not like, it's not, you know, an ongoing thing where you've got a haunted house or whatever. It's an individual event where you're like, yeah, it's so strange, but I don't have any explanation for that. And those are the stories that I love as well. Just weird shit. I did not know about that car door slam growl, two people hearing the same thing at once, and it's often a car door slamming. That
so weird,
is
right?
Crazy.
Yeah, and then like to further get like, because now I've heard like a couple of people say like, oh my god, like I heard a car door slam, and it's just so weird. And then like baby crying is another common thing. But like that, 99% of the time I'm not like looking for stuff. I'm just there like just to get the interview, and usually I'm too nervous that I'm going to make a mess of something that I'm not thinking about, like, oh my god, this is the haunted room or whatever. A couple of times now it's ended up where like halfway through the interview the person's gone like, oh, this was the morgue. You know what I mean?
And then you're like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, lovely. I have had like some fun things happen. Like one of my lights that I had in the Galveston series, actually, the lighting in the place was very like clinical and stuff, so I messed it up. A better camera person would have done a better job, but I had this small lighting panel that I had charged and all the night before, and as we were talking we didn't realize, but like it just completely changed color, which like you have to physically press a button to do. Like, they're not fancy lights with an app or anything, and so it changed color from like purple to red and then just completely died. And then other things, like one of my cameras, I have to manually focus it, and like the focus ring has been moved mid-interview and stuff like that. But one of the coolest things that I've gotten was on another San Antonio story, and it was just recently. I got a disembodied voice on my camera. And like I said at the start of this, like, I'm not turning into a like, listen to this EVP, like, let me know what you think. I'm just telling stories. I'm not showing evidence. But this was so clear that like I can't not put it in. And I wasn't trying to get anything. I was walking around this old it's called Victoria's Black Swan Inn. It's another like famous location if you're a ghost nerd. And it had been a long day. I was sweating, it was hot. And I was just trying to make sure that I had enough shots to like cover up any mistakes that I had made previously. And And as I walked through the building, which I didn't hear at the time, somebody just goes, what I think is memory, literally like that. And I heard it. I had to call Fred and Stephen, who run the place up there. I called them the other day and I was like, lads, is there an alarm in there?
Yeah.
Is there like CCTV, anything? And they laughed because this building is like 130 years old or something like. And they were like, "No, man, like barely has lights in there." You know what I mean? They assured me that there was nobody there at the time. I had met two people coming out as I was going in, all this kind of stuff. And then, some other like weirder stuff that I can't share because it's like I could hear it with like noise cancelling headphones. You know, like somebody laughed at me in the woods and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not going to be in the thing. But it was enough that kind of got me back interested, like as interested in the actual like evidence side of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
really
and I
weird.
think it's really complicated at the moment, isn't it? Because a lot of the, I'm doing inverted commas, I'm doing air quotes, evidence that you see online and stuff in the age of AI and whatever, like none of it interests me anymore because I'm
it's
just
no
like
fun.
It's no fun. Exact. Give me a blurry picture of Bigfoot from far away any day than the kind of AI generated shite that we're seeing. And I find it really frustrating because then, you know, I'm watching these videos and I'm thinking, well, this clearly is an AI, or this clearly is AI, and this means that people who are trying to post videos that are actually interesting, it all gets swallowed up and lost, and I just find it so frustrating.
Well, it's like they call it, right, the death of creativity, but like it's more even than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely is.
One thing was funny, like around last year, one of my posts on TikTok went big for me, at least. And the same day I uploaded that to TikTok, I uploaded a friend of ours had flown back from Denver and saw something weird in the sky. We didn't know what it was. Like, it literally could have been anything, but I was like, oh, can I post that to the Weekly Creep Instagram? He was like, yeah, I don't care, like, whatever. So I posted it. That blew up. So on Instagram, I had all these angry dads being like, this is AI. This is, what's the other thing? Like CGI, like, as if I had like a budget to be sitting at home making this stuff. Meanwhile, on TikTok, the video that like was picking up speed was all these lovely older ladies with literally like their names were like Mima of 7. And they were just leaving like little hearts on my comments. I was like, okay, this is lovely. Yeah, like my the analytics that day were like complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But yeah, I was called every name under the sun by these angry people, and I was like, lads, just enjoy the video. Like I think somebody who claimed they were a pilot, I don't know if they were, they could have been a priest, said it was actually just like an optical illusion of another plane like going away. And I was like, perfect. Like,
yeah, and that's really interesting. We've solved the mystery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I love that as well. It doesn't have to, I'm not, you know, I don't post things, and I'm sure you don't either, to be like, it's certifiably paranormal and there's no other explanation and nobody can tell me otherwise. The mystery is interesting. Figuring it out and it being something natural, I think, is just as interesting sometimes as it being something paranormal.
Yeah. Like big time. There's a book that I'm reading at the minute. I'm so bad at reading books. Like, I'm just so slow. But there's a book I'm reading at the minute, and one of the guys is what's the word actually? He's like a butterfly scientist. I can't remember.
Oh, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is. Butterfly man. And he's like living the dream up in the Pacific Northwest. Lovely, hairy man, just living in a cabin in the woods.
Oh, that is the dream.
Yeah, but one of his things that he used to debunk, like, do you ever like swamp gas and stuff like that? Some butterflies, which I didn't know, actually light up like as part of their like mating ritual, or like, so they'll be dancing. Like, I don't know if it's the males and the females. Like, I'm literally not making this up. Like, I'm just not quoting it from the book. But yeah, so like a lot of the time you could have like 50 or 60 butterflies illuminating their wings or whatever chemicals that come off. And so you'll see like floating orbs in the woods. And I'm like, that's fascinating.
Yeah, that's amazing. Nature is amazing.
Yeah. And even when I was looking at the Bigfoot structures in potential Bigfoot structures in San Antonio, I saw my first fireflies. Like I'd never seen them before.
Wow.
Magical. I was like a child. Of course, like the camera's like doing all this while I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Because I was actually I was like, oh man, like this is the coolest thing. So like if nothing else, that day I came away seeing these like magic little lights fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you'd seen that for the first time ever, having not known what a firefly was, you'd be like, well, that's magic.
Yeah. Exactly. Imagine
that's
reporting
all
that
that
back
is.
To your granny, like back in the day. Like,
yeah, she'd be like, "That was fairies. Stay out of the woods." Do you know what I mean?
Stay away from there. Yeah.
Sure. I have one final question for you, and this question is a bit of an odd one, but it's been on my mind because it's spooky season. So obviously, Halloween is an Irish holiday. It started in Ireland, and it was very serious business when we were growing up. Do you know? Is there anything? Obviously, because England, they're not as hot on Halloween here as they are at home. But Americans tend to be, I think, that Halloween is a bigger thing in America than it probably is in England. Is there anything about Irish Halloween that you really miss?
I miss someone slapping a black bag over my head and saying, now you're a witch.
And one of those plastic masks from the pound shop.
Yeah.
And half the kids had the same mask.
Yeah, no, I miss the simplicity of it. I think that's I probably sound like such an arsehole, but bonfires. Do you know what I mean? I miss it being cold. Like I'm gonna check the temperature now, but I can guarantee it's not cold outside. 27 degrees Celsius, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm sick of it. I'm not built for it. I have too much hair for this heat, and I just want it to be cold. I want my toes to go numb in my Converse while I'm standing in wet grass and there's a huge out of control fire in front of me.
And no health and safety. I remember being kids and, you know, the councils, wherever you were, would take down your bonfires if they knew that you were building them. So we would spend the year collecting pallets and stuff and hiding them. And then only erecting the bonfire on the day of Halloween, because once it was lit, there was no going back. But like you said, I mean, it would just be feral. Like it would just be this wild, uncontrolled fire. And did we have a great time? Yes, we did. We had a wonderful time.
Few close calls, maybe, but we had a great time. Like we used to cook sausages and all on the bonfire.
Yeah. Like it was just, that's character building. That's what that is.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's why now, touch wood, I haven't had food poisoning in a very long time.
Stomachs of steel. That's what it is. Did you have did you get Barnbrack when you were a kid?
Halloween? Absolutely. Yeah. And my granny, I was an only child until I was like 5 or 6, I think. So I was a spoiled little shit. And my granny used to mind these 2 kids, and they would always get the ring. And I would always end up in a huff. Do you know what I mean? Because I was a spoiled little shit. So Barnbrack. Yeah, God, I haven't even thought about Barnbrack.
Yeah,
big load of butter on it.
Because just for people listening, it's like an Irish folk tradition. I suppose you get like it's a fruit cake, and you get it at Halloween, and in it there is a ring baked into it, and if you find the ring, it means that you're going to get married like in the next year or whatever. You're going to get prosperity. There was also
I didn't know that.
For some people it was you might also find like a penny in the Barnbrack or like a piece of rag in the Barnbrack, which would mean that you were going to be really poor, you know, be absolutely thrown into poverty in the next year. But it was like so simple, but honestly the torture of watching somebody else get the ring.
Oh, like heartbreak. Probably why I'm obsessed with rings nowadays, to be honest.
Actually, so am I. I wonder if that's just a childhood trauma.
I have to stop myself from putting on more because I'm not Johnny Depp, you know what I mean? I can't pull it off. But yeah, childhood trauma, definitely. And then I don't know if this was... No, I feel like my friends used to do this too, but like Cole Cannon and mashed potatoes with money in it. Did you ever get that?
Oh, no, we didn't get that. We didn't have that.
Okay, so like in hindsight, probably not like the cleanest thing to be putting in your mashed potatoes, but it was like, what even is Cole Cannon?
It's mashed potatoes and cabbage. That's
what
it is. And spring onion.
Yes, I remember onion, and like I don't think we used cabbage. We probably were doing it wrong, but yeah, they would wrap like 50p pieces in tinfoil and like put them in, and yeah, that was another Halloween tradition, I think.
I'm looking it up here now, and colcannon is a traditional Irish dish of mashed potatoes with cabbage.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to call my mom. You've been doing it wrong.
I do think that it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
My nana used to be putting mad stuff into colcannon because it was pure peasant food. It was just, I'm using up everything that's in the house and it's all going into this.
Absolutely massive. You know what I mean? Like delicious.
So good. Adam, thank you so much for speaking to me. Can you tell people where to find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Houston Strange everywhere. The YouTube page is probably like the easiest way to kind of get it. If you're on TikTok, I'm also like, you can post long form videos on there now. Who knew? That's probably like the biggest following that I have. And if you want to reach out to me, just go on Instagram and DM me or whatever. But yeah, Houston Strange everywhere. Yep.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Let's not leave it as long next time. I say this like it's like this is your fault. It's me. I'm just terrible to organize things. But thank you. It's been an absolute joy.
Thank you.
If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.